Alright, these are problems 30, 31, and 32, and 33 on test 5 review. And these are conversions where it's not just metric to metric or miles to feet. It's now converting metric to the U.S. Standard measurement, or the other way, U.S. standard measurement to the metric system. So in this directions, they say make an approximate conversion as indicated, and that's because they're giving you approximate conversions over here. And I got these conversions from this conversion table, which I loaded into the content. This conversion table will be available to you for the test and for the final. Alright, the precise value of your approximation will depend on the conversion path that you choose. In other words, if a conversion has 3 decimal places, then your answer can have 3 decimal places and it'll still be accurate. If it has 2 decimal places, you need to use 2 decimal places. Alright, so if we're going to change kilometers to miles, we have to choose the appropriate conversion factor, which of course will be one that gives us kilometers and miles. So in 1 kilometer, I'll check mark by that, is 0.62 miles. So we can set up what's called dimensional analysis. And that's where you create, it's like fractions, you are using fractions. You always put what you're going to change. This is what you're changing, 27 kilometers. So let's, in the first square. And then this conversion can be written in different ways. For example, we can write 1 kilometer, as it's written, 1 kilometer equals 0.62 miles. We can also write 0.62 miles equals 1 kilometer. Doesn't matter. And when you can make these into fractions as well. 1 kilometer equal 0.62 mile can also be drawn, and I'm going to move it so we can do that, as a fraction of 1 kilometer. And you can also write it the other way, 0.62 mile into 1 kilometer. The reason I'm bothering to do this is that we're going to pick one of these fractions to place here. And this setup means multiply. So what I'm really doing is multiplying 2 fractions, 27 kilometers just over 1. And then I'm going to use one of these fractions, and the fraction I'm going to choose depends on this unit. That unit is kilometers, so I need to also have kilometers here in this square. So I need to pick the unit with the kilometers on the bottom, and then that tells you all your math that you need to do. Here we're going to put, just like it says here, 0.62 mile and it goes over, just like it is here, 1 kilometer. And what that does is now we multiply 27 over 1 times 0.62 over 1. So it's really just a multiplication of 27 times 0.62. So that would be 27 times 0.62. It equals 16.74. And what we have left is miles. And we know that because anytime you have a number over a number, it's equal to 1. So in this case, we have this kilometer and this kilometer are over each other. This one's on the numerator, this is in the denominator, so they cancel. It's km over km, so that equals 1. And that just leaves your miles, which finish the problem in miles. It's a setup that allows you to keep track of your units and keep track of your math and not get lost in the process. Alright, so what you have here is 2.5 meter, and you're going to change it to inches. Well, we don't have a meter to inch conversion that was given to us. We have centimeter to inch. But we know we can change a meter to centimeter because you've done that in other situations. So first we're going to do that. And we could set up a dimensional analysis to do our multiplying all the way across. So we're going to start out always with our number here, 2.5. And then that will be over 1. This one here, we have a meter here, and we're going to want meters down here so that our meters cancels. We know there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. And that was from all the metric conversions you've already been doing. So now we're going to continue. We're going to use this one, 1 centimeter to 0.39 inch. So we put the centimeters down here. It's 1 centimeter. And we'll put the 0.39 inch on top. Inches on top. And that allows us to do the little trick where we are now keeping track of our units. Those meters cancel because they're numerator over denominator. This numerator is this over this denominator. It leaves us in inches. So what's going to happen is when we do all the math, which is 2.5 over 1 times 100 over 1 times 0.39 over 1. So let's get our calculator, and what that really is 2.5 times 100 times 3.9. 2.5 times 100, and some people would do that part in their head, and then times 0.39, 97.5. So we end up with equals 97.5 inches. So 2.5 meters equals 97.5 inches. So let's look down here, 174 pounds into kilogram. We can use this one, which is a 1 conversion, it's not 2 steps. So we're going to use 1 kilogram and 2.2 pounds. Remember that the fraction can be 1 kilogram. I'll just draw it again. I didn't draw it on the last one. Or it can go 2.20 pound. Okay, let's set up our dimensional analysis. And this way, we have 1 conversion, so we only need 1. So we type our original 174 pound. And then it'll be over 1. The first one is always just over 1. Then we have to choose the fraction to multiply by. 1 kilogram over 2.20 pound, or 2.20 pound over 1 kilogram. We choose the one with the pound on the bottom so that it cancels our units. So we're going to use that one. So that will be 1 kilogram over 2.20 pounds. And that will then cancel our units appropriately, because in the numerator is pound and the denominator is pound. You could reduce these before you multiply, but since you're allowed to use a calculator and we're using a calculator for this, we're going to just use the calculator. So we have 174 over 1 times 1 over 2.20. So let's rewrite that. 174, and we're going to put that over the 2.20. And I'm going to show you that in 2 steps because I want to make sure it's clear that you see this as a division. So we have, we're still in kilograms because we canceled our pounds. And why does that work? Because 174 times 1 is 174. 1 times 2.20 is 2.20. Now we can take this and continue to reduce it down, and we can reduce, or in this case use the calculator. We're going to do 174 divided by 2.2. And that's going to equal, a big repeating decimal, 79.09 repeating. So what we'll do for an answer is, oftentimes it'll ask you on the test to round. So if it asks us to round to the nearest tenths place, 0.09 will then round to 79.1. So the answer is 79.09 repeating. The 9 would move this 0 to a 1 if we were rounding to the tenths place. If we were rounding to the ones place, our answer would simply be 79. And we are in kilogram. So we've just converted the 174 pounds to 79 kilograms, or 79.1 kilogram. Okay, and in this problem here, we're going to use, hopefully you can get the idea of what conversion factors to use. We have 1 gram and then 0.035 ounce. And we're going to do that. And we'll start out with 142 grams. And we will put that over 1. And we're going to multiply it by our conversion factor. 1 gram needs to go on the bottom because those have to cancel, which puts the 0.035 ounce on the top. 0.035 ounce. So that then cancels our grams. G in the numerator, G in the denominator cancels that. All we have is 142 times 0.035, because 1 times 1 is 1. 142 times 0.035 equals 4.97. So that'll equal 4.97 ounces, because we canceled grams and we have ounces left. So 142 grams equals 4.97 ounce. If we rounded it to the nearest ounce, it would be 5.